What up, y'all? Welcome to Cooking with Quiana, the hip shaking mama Lynell. Pull up. Let's have a kiki. Cheers to champagne summers. What is champagne summers, you ask? All right, your first Q-tip. We diving right in today in today's episode. Champagne summers is we are letting go of hard liquor this summer and we are sipping on bubbles, okay? So if you need a little drink, divert to a bowl. We just gonna cut out the hard liquor on your liver because we trying to be slick this summer, okay? Let's dive into. All right, y'all. Today's recipe is triple threat 3-bean Texas chili. Now you know this is for my hot girls. You know I'm a Southern girl, okay? So I had to show you guys a nice, quick way to get your family full and full of their protein, macros, and everything that's gonna keep them healthy, nutritious, well fed, thinking smart, keeping it together. This is your recipe. So we have a pound of ground turkey, onion, shallots, green onions, garlic, bell pepper, some tomato sauce, tomato paste, and 3 different types of beans. I've got a pinto bean, a black bean, and a kidney bean, okay? Then I have my dry ingredients here. All right, so I'm gonna chop some of these fresh vegetables. I like to show you things that you may not know what they are, all right? So my ingredient for you today is oh, that was beautiful. See, I'm trying to be a chef. I just put my finger all in my sauce. Things happen. I'm just glad I didn't curse. Okay. Our ingredient for today that I'm going to show you is a shallot. All right. So what a Q-tip for today is to infuse your recipes with more dense flavors, right? Why don't you want to eat the food that you cook at home? Because it doesn't really taste good. How do I help my food taste better? Let me wait. At home, enhance your flavor profile, okay? Your flavor profile. So a shallot is just another type of onion. So if you look at this recipe, I have 3 types of onions: white onions, a shallot, and then a green onion as well, okay? So I'm just gonna cut this like a regular onion, take that bottom part off. I'm gonna cut it in half, and I'm gonna use half of this because shallots are very potent, okay? Take off this outer membrane. Boop. Because I have successfully lost over 120 pounds, like as of today. But if you count the pounds that you lose and gain back and lose and gain back and lose and gain back, like, bro, can't even tell you how many that is. But if we just count as of today, over 120 pounds. And these are some of the tips and tricks that I use to do that, okay? Cook at home. Cook at home. That's why you're in my kitchen, okay? So I've got my shallot there. I just diced that up nice and fine. I'm gonna scoot that over. And then I wanna show you how to process our garlic today, okay? So I'm gonna put 2 cloves of garlic in here. Your garlic comes with this nice little skin on top of it, right? Actually, let me show you. It comes in a clove. Then you pull this clove off and it's got skin around it, okay? I'm gonna take my knife, clean this shallot off first. And I'm gonna put the garlic clove on your cutting board and just pop it a good time. And that skin just pulls right off of there, right? That's your kitchen tip. If you don't know how to shell garlic. Why does this matter? Okay, yes, they sell garlic in a little tin, a little jar that's already cut up, right? The next time you go to buy that, I want you to look at what color that garlic is. It's like orangish yellow. Why? Because it's sitting in something to preserve the garlic, okay? Just get you some garlic. It takes 2 minutes, all right? Especially if you have this beautiful little thing, okay? It's my favorite new kitchen toy. It's a garlic press. So you take your clove, stick it in there, press it, and it pops out all your garlic pieces. Look at that. See that right there? So we're gonna do 2 of those cloves. And then we're gonna head to the stove because this recipe is really simple. You can do this all in one pot. If you're in a rush, this is easy because all of the beans are canned. You can use those right out of the can. You don't have to use fresh beans for this chili to taste amazing because your herbs are what's gonna take you over the edge, okay? So I just pressed 2 cloves of garlic there. I've got my dry ingredients, and we're about to head to the stove. All right, now that we've chopped all of our vegetables, we are at the stove. Again, this is a really easy 1-pot recipe, okay? Depending on how much, sometimes you can put it all in a skillet, but I like to get a nice deep pan so that this can cook together. It's got to cook together. It's easy to prepare, but it's got to take a few minutes to come together, okay? So I'm going to turn my nice gas on. I love it. I love a gas stove, okay? I'm going to hit that pan with about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, okay? And I'm going to put all of my vegetables, my bell pepper. I had a red bell pepper today, the shallots, some parsley, my white onions. I think that's about, oh, and the green onions. That's all gonna go in there. And I'm gonna drop my garlic. We're gonna let that soften, right, in your skillet. It's gonna take about 3 to 5 minutes on a nice medium high heat. While that's in there, I'm gonna take my salt again, pour your salt over the sink, a pinch in my hand, and then I'm gonna put the pinch in there. If I have extra, like I poured too much, so I'm just gonna throw that in the sink, okay? If you're pouring with if I just take the container and pour, I can't control how much it is. So again, Q-tip, pour your salt in your hand and sprinkle. That's just gonna help those vegetables release their liquor, you know, the sauces that's up in there. It's gonna flavor our chili, okay? Those are gonna cook down till they're nice and soft. You're not even gonna feel that bite. I know some people are like, oh my God, all those green vegetables. Put this on a chip and close your mouth. Just put it on a chip. Put it on some cornbread. You're gonna be fine. Not even gonna feel it. Sorry. It's like my pet peeve. Are you trying to live or die? You want to live or die? I'm trying to live. Sheesh. Okay. We're going to let that simmer, right? Our next step is we're going to put our turkey and our herbs, our herbal seasonings. I'm going to take this moment to remind you, 80-20, okay? You want to take, this is your life. This is your kitchen. You are the person, like I'm a hip shaking mama. Why am I the hip shaking mama? This summer, why am I on Champagne Summers? My family, we're on a slim down. The family's on a slim down. That means you go in my refrigerator, there's no tea. There's no lemonade. Because we're trying to be slim this summer. We, not me. We, okay? Again, I don't play them games like, and it's not even for me. I'm pretty happy with where I am, okay? But I have some people that I'm trying to help support. And when I'm supporting, we on this together. Like, what's the big deal? Why would we not be more healthy together? Like, who doesn't need support? And why wouldn't you support the people you love? So if there's somebody in your life that is going on a journey, I was reading the other day, people were talking about the, what's that, Hard 75? And they were like, yeah, my partner didn't do it with me. It's so hard. But also, find some friends, okay? Find some friends, because, bruh, you need a friend. Anytime anytime you decide to change your habits, first of all, you have to know that's a journey, right? Changing your eating habits, changing the way you think about food, changing the way you prepare your food it is not an easy task, okay? And I'm not gonna say I don't do 80-20. Not all the time, but 80, if I'm at home, I like being snatched when I'm on the road. How do you keep from ballooning? When you can control what you can control, make the best choice possible. If I'm at home, I need to be cooking. Because when I'm not at home, I don't have a choice. I can't cook. Like, I'm running from gig to gig, hotel to hotel. The whole time I was on tour for 10 weeks, there were 2 hotels that I think I had a kitchen in. And everybody in the band was like going to the grocery store and like they wanted to cook because this is therapeutic. Like I know what's in here. It's gonna feel good. Like even when I cook this for my family, I love watching them eat it. I'm watching my daughter take control back of her like life and choices of what she puts in her body. That's what this is about. When you put yourself first, baby, everything else is gonna be all right. All right, so we've let these vegetables come together. It smells amazing. If you could smell this, that garlic and the cilantro, those fresh ingredients are just busting. Now, don't get me wrong. If you don't have time to chop up that, I have gone in the freezer, got a good freezer section. I live in South Louisiana. We keep the fresh vegetables that they freeze. That's your next best choice, okay? But if you have an extra 10 minutes, go and chop that up. Go and chop that up. Go and chop it up, okay? We're going to add our lean ground turkey into there. Separate that. Hear that sizzle? I want to break that up. And then I'm just going to pour in all of my dry ingredients, all right? All of those herbs and spices. My pan just say, thank you. Thank you. Hallelujah. The pan is just crazy. Okay, I'm going to continue to chop that up. Let me use my CPE. Before that pot jump off the stove on me. You don't want to lose your food. You feel me? My little puppy be ready though. He's like, did you drop something, mommy? Emma stays ready. I don't know why I'm doing this with my left hand. After you get that all incorporated and across the bottom of the pan, you're gonna let that ground meat brown for about 10 to 15 minutes. You want that to be all the way done. The reason I'm breaking this up is because we want chili. So the ground meat needs to be in bite-sized pieces, okay? Now this is turkey. You could use ground meat if you want. I try to use less fat in my meat so that I can eat fat and cheese, okay? So you have to weigh your options, okay? If you're gonna put cheese on your chili, let's make a leaner choice on my meat, right? I could have put some sausage in here with it. You could add whatever kind of protein you want, but for me and the goals that we have right now, I'm going with a leaner meat choice, and I'm gonna add some more protein at the end. I'm gonna show you that, but I'm definitely eating cheese on my chili. I'm from Texas. Cheese, onions, jalapeno, a little chive, and like a Frito pie. You could also use this for some nachos with some grated cheese. Pop it in the air fryer toaster oven. Melt that cheese on top, baby. It's gonna slap. But why do I use turkey? Lower fat content than red meat. All right. We're gonna let that cook again for about another 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just stirring that up so that the meat starts to crumble. As that's cooking, go ahead and pop those dishes in your sink. Tip shake your mamas. Keep a tidy little home as best as you can. How do you not get overwhelmed at the end of your cooking when your family sits down to eat? Are you able to sit down with them and look up at the kitchen and it's okay? Or do you look up at the kitchen like, oh God, I gotta go clean the kitchen? Ugh. How could I make myself more effective? First, utilize all your spaces, right? These dishes are clean, so I wash them. They go in here to dry. Every morning, my daughter takes the clean dishes out of the dishwasher. Sometimes, it might be, I'm not saying I don't use my dishwasher. Don't get that wrong. We are definitely taping a show. But I I was just talking about you. See, look, the cameo appearance. Did you drop something, Mom? Of course. Come on. Get out of here. Get out of here. Move it. Move it. Move it. Go. All right, this is just about done cooking. While that's finishing up, I'm gonna grab our beans, okay? Again, this is a quick little 30, 45-minute dish you can put together. And this will last you all a few days, a few days. What makes this really easy are your canned beans. And you don't have to add a lot of salt because your canned beans do have some salt. I do pick the varieties that have low sodium because I like to flavor my pot. You don't want your cans and the ingredients that you put in to flavor your pot. So my herbs are flavoring my pot. Those things are going to flavor the beans, but there is some sodium in here, okay? So I have equal parts of all 3 bean types. All right. And I'm just going to toss these in here. No particular order. I did drain the liquids out of here because I don't want those extra liquids. Again, I'm going to flavor this pot, but I do need the beans. Okay. Give that a stir. Baby, this is going to be so good. Haven't made any of this in a long time. This is one of the things I do definitely make when I'm on my macro. I need to eat clean and well, like, because you don't have to eat this with anything. Like, you could just eat chili. If you are really being disciplined, we are prioritizing protein. We're eating our red beans. You do not need anything else besides. All right. We are here at our pot. We have put our meat, our beans, our fresh veggies, onions, all that flavor is in the pot. I have one last pre-made item. This is a fire roasted tomato with garlic, right? You can find that at your grocery store in the canned tomato section. Fire roasted tomatoes with garlic. Okay. I love to add that. It's chunky. I don't want to hear you chunky people. It's too chunky. It's chili. It's hearty. You need to chew. I have a texture thing, right? Like sometimes we need to slow down and eat your food. Like chew your food. Okay? I know as a kid, sometimes we didn't have as much patience, but retry foods. I used to not like tomatoes as much when I was younger. But again, the older you get, the more studies you read, you're like, let me go try to do this stuff that's good for me. Okay? All right, I'm going to add, this is tomato paste. Now, there's a difference between tomato paste and tomato sauce, right? That's really thick, concentrated. That's a really strong tomato flavor, okay? You want that in your chili. That's also adding some more macros. Tomatoes are one of the best things you can eat. There's this, I think it's lycium something. It's really good for your body. And then last is your favorite, just tomato sauce, okay? That's thin. There's no flavoring in here. It's just a tomato sauce. I'm going to give that a stir. We are going to add a little water and allow this to cook for about 15 to 20 minutes at a medium boil, right? What is that doing? That's infusing the flavors from the meat. Remember, I put all those seasonings in that meat. Maybe that meat was but that's going to take that flavor, infuse it through the beans and through this tomato sauce so that when you're biting the chili, it all tastes good, right? You want the flavors to marry together. So take that wherever your sauce was, right? You're going to have cans. I'm on a show. Take that, rinse that out, get all that out of there because you don't want to waste, right? Hip shaking mamas don't waste. We use all the things. And then run your water. I'm going to bump. Oh, bump my heat up. Again, you also, why do you add the water? You can't boil something that's that thick. And it needs to boil. It needs to tumble in order for this all to get together. Okay? Tumble, when I say tumble, like the bubbles need to be moving through this liquid. And we're gonna cover this. I don't have a cover. Let me show you what your hip shaking mamas do when you don't have a cover. Take this little thing and you put it on top of there. Okay? This is the country way. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. This is not, I didn't say I'm cooking with Bobby Flay. But if you close your eyes, you're like, oh, is that Bobby in that top? This is for my hip shaking mamas, okay? If you don't have a top, don't take you a little skillet. That's what my grandma used to do, okay? And I'm going to turn that up and let that come together. Take a break, Mom. Take a break, Mom. Take a break. All right, y'all. Welcome back to Quiana's Kitchen. We are here with our chili that has been coming together, right? We're going to reduce that heat. Give that a little stir. Now we are going to use a thickening agent, okay? Now I use that whenever you have a pot that needs to be thicker, right? If you look at my chili right now, see how it just falls off of my spoon? That is too, I don't like my chili soupy, okay? We want it to be thicker where when you pick your spoon up, it's stuck to the spoon, okay? So what I'm gonna use is some cornstarch, right? Yes. And some warm water. So this is about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And I'm going to take enough water, about 1/3 of a cup. So I'm going to whisk that together. Now, I like cornstarch because it will not change the flavor of your pot. Actually, let me go back. Because this is the chance when we're gonna taste and make sure that we have all of our seasoning. Because I gave you a recommendation of what it should taste, what your pot should taste like, okay? When you taste your chili, when you taste your food, you can add seasonings, okay? This is your Q-tip. You can always add something to your pot, but you can't take it out. So if you start with, like, if you look at my seasonings, you're like, oh my gosh, she's putting so much seasoning. Don't put that much. You know, if this is your first time trying a recipe at home and you're like, I don't know, she used a 1/2 teaspoon. I've never done that. Start with 1/3, right? And then you can add some more later. This is your moment to taste. This is your moment to taste your pot, right? So take it out. I've got some beans and some meat in there. But it's not thick, okay? What you want to taste when you're tasting your chili. This is not, I hate when I taste somebody's chili and it tastes like marinara sauce, okay? Chili has to taste like chili. What makes the chili flavor? Chili powder. And it's going to take more than what you think it should take. Like if you're somebody that just cooks in your kitchen, you're like, oh, I'm going to just throw some in there. It needs more. Or else it's going to taste like marinara sauce. I'm like, what is this? Marinara sauce? No. I need it to taste like chili. Chili. Okay, that tastes like chili. Okay, so I'm going to take my thickening. All right, so I've got my thickening agent. I'm going to pour that in to my chili. And we are going to let that cook for another 10, 15 minutes. You can automatically feel the pot has gotten, like for me to go through stirring, there's more resistance. It's no longer... it's not as fast, but it's going to take a couple minutes to soak up some of that water that's in the pot. Some of your kids may have done an experiment with cornstarch. They put water in it and it becomes like this gelatinous. Cornstarch and water, if you put enough, it's like this science experiment. I might tag it in the comments if you look it up, but it's like this different consistency, but it automatically thickens your pot. I'm going to use it again in another recipe. I might do a quiz. What is our secret thickening agent? Because that's a Q-tip. You know, you want to make gravy. How do I make gravy healthier for my family? I just put a little cornstarch. That's not as many calories as flour and making a roux. But if I've made something that's got a nice flavor and I want it thicker, a couple of tablespoons of cornstarch and some water and it'll thicken it up. All right, so that's your Q-tip. Another little tip, put that in your pocket. All right, we're gonna let that come together for about 5 to 10 minutes. And we ready to eat, baby. All right, welcome back to Quiana's Kitchen. I got 2 bowls here. Let's see. Dinner's ready. I don't know if anybody, sometimes, you know, you have to cook and you end up eating by yourself. It's okay, you know, you got to do your work, but this is beautiful. Take your time. Weekday meal. I've got my cheese, my chives. Let me go on and dig in. This is one of my, listen, when I tell you, this takes me back to days at the ballpark, okay? I played softball. And baby, it's nothing like running to the concession stand and getting you a nice Frito pie. The flavor is marinated so well together. If you're trying to be extra conscious, let me chew this up. You don't have to put the Fritos, right? You can also use a saltine cracker. You can make this into nachos, use your favorite tortilla chip, whatever you like. You can count your chips, right? When you're trying to be extra conscious, I didn't put a whole bowl in there. I put like 8 chips. I'm gonna spread these bites out so that I have a crunch, because sometimes you just want the texture, right? Another Q-tip. If you want the texture, just put less, right? I'm prioritizing my protein. I've got my extra dollop of protein with my Greek yogurt. If you're trying to get your macros and your health on track, pull up to Quiana's Kitchen. Baby, we're gonna get you right, okay? Pull up. Happy summer. Champagne summers. Take a moment. Prioritize yourself. At this moment, though, you should go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share, because somebody needs to know how easy it is to pull back, get your body together, get your life together, help your family achieve their goals, and be hip shaking mamas. All right. Cheers to you. I hope that you have a great day. Sitting in the corner, got something on my mind. I wanna tell you a story, baby. Sit down, baby. You're gonna need some time for this one. If you would you please come walk my way, I'd look right at you and say, there's something you got, baby, come and twiddly